back to the farmstead. Can you believe it is week 4 of our pantry challenge? It has been really fun. I'm really enjoying using just the things from my pantry and not feeling like, well, I wanted to make this, but I need to go to the grocery store. Don't have that. We're going to use whatever we have in the pantry or the freezers and make a great meal. Now, if you've been around, you've probably noticed that I'm not really a meal planner. I don't sit down and make a list of the week's groceries and think, here's what we're going to have for Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. I've done that in the past, but I'm more a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. So, and it works out all right for us. So I have bought another book. Imagine that, me buying another book. But I did. And this is one that I've been wanting for a little while. I have seen other folks on YouTube videos in particular who also like to collect books and who have this one. It's called A Year Without the Grocery Store. It's by a lady named Karen Morris. And in this, it is a step-by-step guide to acquiring, organizing, and cooking food storage. It is a thin book. It's not 700 pages long, and it's very practical. The ideas that she has and the suggestions that she offers are very down to earth, very commonly found tools and containers and things that you can put into practice to use things that you have on hand and stay away from the grocery store for a while. So if that's something that might interest you, I'll link this below and you can look at it for yourself. But great ideas. I thought I had all the great ideas, but nope, turns out I don't. She has some too. So, all right, well, let's get started on week 4, see where this week takes us. We're going to mix up some ice cream base so that we can make homemade ice cream later today and have with dinner tonight. Now we have a little countertop Cuisinart ice cream churner, electric. The insert for it is in the freezer getting cold. And once this has been in the fridge for a little while, we will mix it up. Now we're going to make a double batch. We're going to do some with some strawberries that I found in the freezer and some peanut butter cookies. We're going to crumble these up kind of like a cookies and cream kind of deal. So the first thing we're going to do is start with heavy cream. And we're going to mix it all in this pitcher. They can just sit in the fridge and chill for at least a couple hours. So let's get this open. And we're going to pour in here 4 cups of heavy whipping cream. That might be this whole thing. Yep, perfect. All right, so to that, set this over here out of the way. We're going to add 2 cups of regular milk. Now, I use 2% because that's what we have at the house. You could use whole milk or low fat, although low fat wouldn't be as tasty. All right, so there's our 2 cups, and we're going to add 1.5 cups of regular white sugar. Get stirring on this. We're going to add a sprinkle of salt, quarter teaspoon max, and a couple splashes of vanilla. There we go. I'm going to mix this up good until the sugar dissolves or kind of gets dissolved. And we'll stir it again good before we put it into the churning process. All right, so this is mixed up good. I'm going to put it in the fridge, like I say, for at least a couple hours. We'll come back and make some ice cream. See you in a bit. And once I get it all mixed up, I stuck it in the refrigerator for about 3.5 hours. And it thickens up a little bit, but not too much. I stirred it up good, and I'm going to pour half of it into the little frozen bowl to make the first batch. Took me a minute to get just down to half. But I didn't want the second batch to run out the top, so took a little time, made sure I got just half. I thought that this little thing turned and made the ice cream, but then I got to watching once I put the lid on. It's got little pegs in there that stops the little churning thing, and the bowl turns. I'd never really stopped and looked at it before. And in about 15 minutes, we had ice cream. This is about 1 cup of strawberries, including the juice, that I had found in the freezer. I'm just going to mix that all in, fold it in. I really don't want to make my ice cream unfluffy because it was pretty fluffy at this point. But I do want to mix it in good. And then I'm going to spoon it into these little containers. Now these little containers are, I believe, 12-ounce containers, and I got them at Amazon. So handy. They make portioning out individual size portions perfect. And as you'll see, they perfectly fit 2 scoops. And this filled 4 containers. I covered each one with a lid, and I'm going to mark an S on each one for strawberry. Then we'll put them in the freezer, and they'll be ready at a moment's notice. While I'm waiting for the second batch to churn, I'm going to fix up the cookies that we're going to mix in. Now, these are peanut butter cookies, kind of like Nutter Butters. And I'm going to use about half of this package. I'm going to put them into a Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to crunch them up. And I'm going to use this wide mouth pint jar that I had sitting close by to crunch them up. Who needs a rolling pin when you got about 1,000 glass jars? Now that the second batch is all churned up, we're just going to add our cookies and fold them in. Oh, and the sweet smell of ice cream and peanut butter. Whew, just doesn't get much better than that. We're going to scoop them into the little containers, just like we did the strawberry. We actually got 5 containers made with peanut butter cookies. So I'm going to put on the lids and then mark them with a PB for peanut butter. And off to the freezer they will go. I'm going to have a hard time deciding whether I want peanut butter or strawberry for dessert tonight. Maybe one of each. And for dinner, we're making crock pot chicken. We've got some leg quarters in with some Sweet Baby Ray's. Smother it all over and bake it for about 4 hours. This is going to be yellow squash from the freezer. And this is the way my granny taught me how to make it. First off, you got to have a cast iron skillet. And we're going to melt a whole stick of butter. And then to that, we're going to add some onions, and then the squash, and then a little bit of a surprise. We're also going to open a jar of purple hull peas. We're going to add a little bit of water to these. I put some in them when I can them, but they always soak up whatever's in there, so I always have to add a little bit once I get them in the pot. It's just not summer unless I shell at least 1 bushel of purple hull peas. If you're having peas, you gotta have cornbread. This is a little Mexican cornbread mix. We're gonna spice it up a little tonight. I'm just making this by the package directions. The onions are almost thawed out. We'll give them another minute or two, and then we'll add the squash. I've got this big package of bacon that I bought from Sam's. I think I'm going to throw a spoonful of that into purple bell peas. Just give them a nice little different kick today. So we put the squash in with the onions, stir it around a little bit. It's still a little frozen, but it'll thaw out in no time. And here's where the magic comes in. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and Granny's secret ingredient, a little bit of sugar. Now we'll put a lid on them and let them cook until they're nice and soft and tender. Now it can take 20 to 25 minutes for the squash to cook and the onions to get translucent. Just depends on how much you have in the pot. This was a pretty small batch, so it didn't take too long. Uh-oh. Over the weekend, the grand girl came over and, of course, had Papa make her pancakes and bacon. She usually has an egg, but this day she didn't want one. There were a couple days where we had rain and rain and rain and more rain. Probably 8 inches or so total. Our yard is a wet mess. But we do need the rain, and it'll sure get everything off to a good start for gardening season. Super Bowl Sunday. Ribs from the freezer. Suddenly salad from the pantry. Nachos, because I was craving them. And even some orange cookies with white morsels. I made one trip to the grocery store for just a few of the essentials. Chocolate for Valentine's Day? Well, yes, of course. Well, here we are, right back where we started, in the pantry. These 4 weeks have been very eye-opening. I did not realize how much I subconsciously think, oh, well, I need to put in a little Walmart pickup order so I can make dinner tonight. Not doing that. I'm using the things that we have on hand. All the canned goods, the things that we have canned and preserved, all the things that we have stocked our shelves with, the things that we've stocked our freezers with. And I've really enjoyed it. And I think Papa has too. So, we're going to call this the end of the Pantry Challenge for 2024 and look forward to next year. Thank you for following along, for all of your encouraging comments. I've really enjoyed reading them. And now let's move on to see what else is next. Thanks for watching. See you next time.